November 14, 2006 Board of Selectmen Sewer Commissioner meeting. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Madam Chair. All 5 selectmen are present, and is our Town Administrator, Michael Hartman.
Thank you. At this time, if there's anyone present that would like to address the board, I would ask that they come forward.
Good evening. I'm Joan Andrews. I'm here this evening in support of the Oak Grove Cape Verdean Resource Center Committee. I brought with me this evening a memorandum of understanding that I hope I realize that you can't just sign it right away and sign your life away, but I was hoping that you would go over this and with maybe a couple of changes that have already been made aware of. If you would just, all it would do would put us in a partnership of support for moving forward with the project that we hope to. And so you have the memorandum. If you'd like me to read it aloud,
yeah.
I will. The Oak Grove School, located in Wareham, Mass., specifically in the section of the town referred to as Onset, is currently undergoing a complete restoration. Initially, a proposal for the use of the facility included space for a cultural center depicting Cape Verdean culture and their contribution to the development of southeastern Massachusetts. The main tenant of the building will be Head Start. Given the guidelines in which Head Start facilities must abide by, a cultural center within the same existing space is not permitted. The group, which represents the Cape Verdean Cultural Center Oak Grove Resource Committee, understands the limitations of the existing space as it applies to the Head Start program. The Oak Grove Resource Center Committee is seeking from the town of Wareham a commitment that will allow for an addition to be built, on the southeast end of the existing building at some future date. The addition will not be affixed directly to the existing building, but instead have a canopy and walkway. This has already been brought up to me. That might have to change. That join the addition to the original structure. And so I'm aware of that change. The overall size will be no larger than 800 square feet and no less than 600 square feet. Funding to support this project will be sought from both public and private sources, of which I might add we have already started some of the fundraising. We, the committee, ask that the town enter in this agreement by signing this document, so then when it is feasible and funding is in place, this addition can move forward to serve as an important part of the town of Wareham's history and an educational center for future generations. And so that alone explains why I'm here, and I welcome any feedback from you.
Joan, the area that you're proposing, is that the area where the old addition was before it was ripped down?
It is on that side, I believe.
Okay, all right. Because it was like 2 years ago or something. It was.
The man who owned it lived there.
Oh,
that was
okay.
his quarter, his
Okay.
living quarters.
Is the reason that it can't be separate have to do with heating system and all that kind of stuff?
No, it may be more in the light of fire sprinklers and and so forth. You know, they'll be very, very harsh on that.
I suggested, Joan came forward at citizens' input, and I had suggested that if she was going this route, to do an enclosed walkway that probably is heated, because you'd want to be able to carry the sprinkler system over, and also you'll want to use the bathrooms on the core building, because you'll need that too.
No, I was thinking in terms of money, that if it was attached, could it not run off of the heating system
Right.
also, though?
Well,
It
the
could.
design actually, the design anticipates the addition on
Mhm.
the other side of the building, and the other side of the building has been designed to accommodate it and share a common entrance, much in the way Jim's talked about, so that there's access to the restrooms, so that when I met with Mr. Lopes, they weren't sure whether or not they could get enough money to put in their own restrooms. So the thought was, let's put it in a way with a common entry so that you could make
Access the
use
bathroom.
of other parts of the building when you're
Right.
using the cultural center. So the design is actually to have it on, as you're facing the building, on the right side rather than the left side,
Well, and
which
I
is
was-
what she's requesting.
Yeah, I was just thinking that
Yeah.
if the heating system can be carried over into an addition, it would save a lot of money too, and not having to put their own.
Right.
Yeah, it's
heating
designed
system.
that way. That was,
Okay.
that was the way it
Separate
was
system.
spec'd, because there was an understanding, at least ways at the staff level,
Mhm.
with this group, that this is what we would do, and that's how we spec'd it.
Okay, that's good.
So, I'm sorry, so when you were talking about the right-hand side and the left-hand side, looking at it, is the side that you were proposing the same side that they're suggesting?
No, it's exactly it's the exact opposite. And the idea was that they would share, he's calling it an enclosed walkway. We viewed it as being an enclosed common entryway.
So it would be on the opposite side,
Mhm.
on our right side.
That doesn't matter, does it? That wouldn't matter to
Well,
you
it might
which
matter
way?
for that turnaround.
Well, I mean,
for the-
in terms
the
of,
headstand.
Well, that was all shared with the planning board under site plan.
yeah.
When the building underwent site plan review, that whole concept of this is where a 600 to 800 foot
Okay.
addition will be added someday was all shared with the planning board through site plan review.
I was under the idea that the addition was thought to be on the other side where the old addition
I
was.
think that's where we started.
That's
Yeah,
where-
and I think there
That's
was.
what you
I-
want.
I remember seeing a plan,
That's what you
maybe one
wanted.
of the original plans a long time back, that it had an addition.
But what
Um,
I'm asking
then I
is,
know the
it
project was scaled back.
wouldn't matter to you which side it was on.
No, initially, we
No,
did want it on that side, on the
Yeah.
left side initially.
Yeah.
But,
If this works,
Yeah, but if it would work on the right and it was the right.
And if it represents a cost savings, which is what I'm
Yes.
hearing, that it will
It does.
absolutely represent a huge cost savings in terms of doing utilities,
That's right,
separate
but at that
utilities,
time-
et cetera.
when we thought about, we didn't know
I
that.
understand.
I think the actual, if I could just say, I think the intention was the part that was torn down was intended to be rehabbed. And ultimately, it was in fact condemned, and we had to tear it down.
Yeah, I understand.
And that's what
Yeah.
changed the thinking.
That's what changed
Yeah.
then.
I
Okay.
understand that side that we thought we were going to build on, I understand that side has already been planned for handicap accessibility. That whole side, someone had mentioned it to us, that side was going to be handicapped. I don't know
Now I'm
what the
getting
plans
confused. You
look
mean
like.
the left-hand side?
Yeah,
I believe that is where the handicapped entrance is
yeah,
planned.
because we took pictures before everything went
Right.
down.
And what you would have, if, with the common entryway on the future addition, on the other side, you would have two handicapped entrances then to
Okay.
the Head Start part, because your part, we would want to make handicapped also, especially if it were ever going to be used for public meetings.
Exactly, yeah.
Do you have an address where people can send checks?
Yes, we do, as a matter
Probably
of
ought
fact.
to put that out there, Joan.
It's been posted on the,
Well, this goes out
Yeah.
to a pretty good group, I understand, so you might want to let them know where to send their checks.
we had it posted on the,
I know it runs on the
Yeah.
cable
it was
station
on the
quite
cable
frequently.
station
Yeah.
for a while, and,
Steve still
we
is.
had, I'm sorry, but we had, two ladies who sat with us, they were treasurers, and one of them had to have an operation, the other one was very sick, she couldn't do it, but Tiny took it over, so we'll have to get you the address.